What if the life you live today is simply the sum of what you have done repeatedly day after day without even realizing it? Imagine for a moment that every single habit, every small choice, is quietly shaping your future, carving out the person you will become. It's easy to feel stuck, like the life you want is so far away, too complicated, too distant, or just too hard to reach. But here's the truth you need to hear. It's not about massive changes or rare moments of brilliance. It's about what you do over and over again, the tiny actions you take without thinking, that decide your path. That's where your power lies, and that's where your transformation begins. You may have felt powerless at times, overwhelmed by the gap between who you are now and who you want to be. Maybe you've tried before to make changes, only to slip back into old patterns, wondering if real change is even possible. This feeling is more common than you think. The reason it's so hard to break free isn't that you lack willpower or desire. It's because your brain is wired to seek comfort in repetition. Habits are like grooves in the mind, worn deep by every repeated action. They free your mental energy by making behavior automatic, but they also trap you if you don't take control. This is why understanding the power of repetition matters more than any quick fix. When you grasp that the person you will become is hidden in the small choices you make today, you start to see change differently. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, the grand breakthrough, or a sudden surge of motivation. Instead, you focus on the simple act of choosing better habits, again and again. Because this is how transformation really works. This shift in perspective is the key to unlocking the future you crave. Imagine the emotional relief and pride you will feel when your habits finally work for you, not against you. Think about waking up each day confident that your actions are moving you closer to your dreams, rather than pulling you away. The secret is that every habit is a vote for the identity you want. When you choose wisely, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, strong, and deserving of success. And that belief, more than anything else, will keep you going when the road gets tough. Stay with this truth, because what you learn here can change everything. By the end of this journey, you will see how to break free from the habits that hold you back and build new ones that build you up. You will discover the hidden forces behind your daily routines and learn how to steer them toward the life you truly want. The power to become who you were meant to be is in your hands, not someday, but right now. This is your moment to choose better habits, and in doing so to become the person you've always dreamed of becoming. Your brain is a remarkable machine, constantly shaping who you are by wiring itself through your repeated actions. Each time you perform a habit, whether good or bad, your brain strengthens the pathways that make that behavior easier to do again. This isn't just a theory, it's the way your mind conserves energy and protects you. Habits free up mental space so you can focus on other things, but this automatic system also means you don't always realize how powerful your daily routines truly are. The simple truth is that your brain rewards repetition, making your habits feel effortless, even when they hold you back. Understanding this mechanism gives you a critical advantage. It means change isn't about fighting your brain. It's about working with it. The basal ganglia, a part of your brain deeply involved in habit formation, allows you to perform complex actions without conscious thought. This is why brushing your teeth or tying your shoes doesn't require willpower. But the downside is clear. If your habits are negative, the brain locks you into patterns that are hard to break. The way forward isn't willpower alone. It's about rewiring those neural pathways through consistent, deliberate repetition of new behaviors. This neurological fact means you don't need massive effort all at once. Small, repeated actions shape you far more than occasional bursts of motivation. Knowing this should stir something inside you, a realization that transformation is both possible and practical. It's not magic, luck, or sudden inspiration that builds the life you want. It's the simple act of doing better repeatedly. Every time you choose a positive habit, your brain grows new connections, rewiring itself toward the identity you desire. This rewiring isn't instantaneous, but it is unstoppable when given enough time and focus. You become what you repeatedly do because your brain adapts to whatever you feed it. This knowledge gives you the power to choose differently, to sculpt your mind like a master craftsman shaping clay. This science isn't cold or distant, it's deeply personal. It means that the small choices you make when no one is watching define your future. Every time you give into a bad habit, you strengthen that path in your brain, making it easier to fall back into. But every time you choose better, even in the smallest way, you build a new pathway that grows stronger with each repetition. The emotional weight of this truth is enormous. The power to change isn't out there somewhere, it's inside you right now, wired into your very brain. You can't afford to ignore this. The habits you choose today aren't just behaviors. They are the foundation of your identity, your confidence, your resilience, and your future success. Your brain's plasticity, its ability to change and grow, means that every positive habit you build brings you closer to the person you want to be. And the deeper this truth settles, the stronger your commitment will grow. You are not a victim of your past. You are the architect of your future, building it one habit at a time. This knowledge is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely, and your life will transform beyond what you once believed possible. Every habit you practice sends a clear message to your mind: this is who you are. Your identity is not some fixed, distant concept. It is alive, constantly shaped and reshaped by the choices you make every day. When you act in alignment with your goals, even in the smallest ways, your brain begins to accept that new version of you as true. This means your habits don't just influence your actions, they influence your sense of self. Each repeated behavior reinforces an internal story: I am disciplined, I am strong, I am capable. Or, if left unchecked, the opposite can happen: I am lazy, I am unworthy, I am stuck. The habits you cultivate become the foundation upon which your identity is built. The emotional power of this realization cannot be overstated. When you understand that habits define your identity, it transforms your motivation from fleeting to profound. It becomes less about forcing yourself to do something and more about becoming the person you want to be. This shift in thinking changes everything. Suddenly, your daily actions carry weight beyond the immediate moment. They are votes in favor of your future self. This means every choice matters, even those that seem small or insignificant. Your identity grows not from big dramatic events, but from the quiet consistency of repeated actions. This connection between habits and identity also explains why it's so hard to change. You aren't just breaking a habit, you're challenging the version of yourself that you've accepted as real. This can be uncomfortable, even painful. The mind resists change because it craves stability. It wants to protect the identity it knows, even if that identity limits you. But here lies the opportunity. By choosing better habits, you invite your brain to accept a new story about who you are. You give yourself permission to grow, evolve, and break free from old limitations. This process is deeply empowering because it shows that change is not an external struggle but an internal transformation. You can feel the tension in this truth, the pull between who you've been and who you want to become. That tension is the fuel for change. When you embrace it, you tap into a powerful source of motivation that lasts beyond willpower or momentary excitement. It is the motivation rooted in identity, purpose, and self-respect. It's the feeling that you owe it to yourself to become better because you deserve it. This motivates you to keep showing up, day after day, doing the hard work of reshaping your habits even when it feels difficult. Recognizing that habits create identity also invites deep self-compassion. It frees you from shame and blame for past mistakes, because those were shaped by different habits and beliefs. Now, with awareness, you hold the power to choose differently. You hold the power to create a new identity through consistent action. This is the heart of transformation, the understanding that who you are is not fixed but fluid, waiting for your conscious direction. Every habit you choose is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life, painting a clearer picture of the person you are becoming. The habits you hold are not random. They are triggered by unseen forces that shape your every action, often without your conscious awareness. Your environment, your emotions, even the smallest cues around you are silently pushing you toward patterns you repeat every day. These triggers are the invisible architects of your behavior. They dictate when and how you act, pulling you into comfort zones that feel safe, even if those zones keep you trapped in old routines that no longer serve you. The more you recognize these forces, the more control you regain over your life. Awareness is the first powerful step to breaking free from automatic cycles. Your surroundings play a far bigger role than you might imagine. The places you spend time, the people you associate with, and even the way your day is structured set the stage for your habits. If your environment constantly cues old, negative behaviors, no amount of willpower will be enough to override them consistently. This is not a failure of character. It is the brain's natural response to repeated signals. But if you change your environment, even slightly, you disrupt these automatic triggers. This shift allows space for new habits to grow and take root. The right environment becomes a silent ally in your transformation, making your path easier and your progress more sustainable. This means that transformation is not just about trying harder. It's about designing your life in a way that supports the person you want to become. It's about arranging your daily context so that good habits are the easiest, most natural choices. When you make the right habits convenient and visible, your brain rewards you with a sense of accomplishment and pleasure, reinforcing the new path. On the other hand, when you isolate yourself from old triggers and temptations, you remove the constant pull of outdated habits, weakening their grip. This strategic approach isn't just smart, it's essential. Understanding the power of environment also means realizing you are not alone in your journey. The people around you influence your habits deeply, either lifting you toward growth or pulling you back into comfort and stagnation. Your social circles serve as living cues that shape your daily actions. Surrounding yourself with those who reflect the habits you want to develop can dramatically shift your trajectory. When positive habits become a shared experience, they gain momentum, becoming part of your identity through connection and support. This social reinforcement is a powerful, often overlooked force in habit change. You have the ability to curate your world deliberately. This means choosing spaces, routines, and relationships that nurture your highest potential. It means creating an environment where your best self is the easiest self to be. When your external world aligns with your internal goals, the energy required to act consistently drops dramatically. This alignment removes the constant battle between desire and resistance, replacing it with a natural flow toward growth and excellence. Harnessing the power of your environment is not a passive process. It requires intention and courage, but it's one of the most effective ways to reclaim control over your habits and, ultimately, your life. The more you shape your surroundings to support your better habits, the faster you rewrite the story of who you are. This insight is liberating because it puts you in the driver's seat. Your environment doesn't just reflect your current habits. It can be the foundation upon which your future is built, habit by habit, day by day. Every habit carries with it an emotional reward, a feeling that your brain craves and remembers. This reward is what keeps you coming back, over and over, to the same behavior. It might be comfort, relief, excitement, or even a brief escape from discomfort. These feelings become the fuel that powers your habits, whether they are lifting you up or holding you down. To create lasting change, it's essential to understand what emotional needs your habits are fulfilling and find healthier ways to satisfy them. The emotional pull of habits is strong because it taps into your deepest desires for safety, connection, or pleasure. Recognizing this can help you redirect that energy toward habits that serve your growth rather than sabotage it. It's not enough to want change. You must feel it deeply. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, and it will always steer you toward what feels good in the moment. This is why many good intentions fade quickly. They lack emotional resonance. To build better habits, you must create new emotional rewards that compete with the old ones. This might mean cultivating a sense of pride after exercising, the peace that comes with meditation, or the confidence built from consistent progress. When the positive feelings linked to a new habit grow strong enough, they begin to override the old rewards. This shift rewires your brain's emotional associations and makes new habits feel just as natural and satisfying as the old ones. Understanding the emotional side of habits also explains why change often feels uncomfortable. The brain resists losing the familiar rewards, even if they harm you. This resistance can create internal conflict, a push and pull between what you want and what feels safe. Embracing the struggle without judgment is vital. It means accepting that discomfort is part of the process, a sign that your brain is rewiring and growing stronger. With every moment of discomfort you tolerate, your new habits gain strength, and the old emotional patterns lose power. This emotional endurance is where true transformation lives. When you start to see habits as emotional experiences, you gain a powerful tool for change, emotional awareness. This means paying attention to how you feel before, during, and after a habit. It means asking yourself what need you are trying to meet, and whether there is a healthier way to meet it. This level of mindfulness brings emotional intelligence into your habit-building process, making your actions more deliberate and aligned with your true desires. It's this emotional insight that moves habit change from surface-level effort to deep, lasting transformation. The emotional reward system also shows why consistency matters more than perfection. Each time you choose a habit that feels good and supports your growth, you reinforce your new emotional pathways. Even small wins build momentum because they tap into positive feelings that motivate you to continue. This creates a cycle where emotional rewards and consistent action feed each other, turning new habits into an inseparable part of your identity. The more you lean into this emotional feedback loop, the stronger your transformation becomes. Harnessing the emotional power of habits unlocks the secret to lasting change. When your new habits feel deeply rewarding, they become more than routines. They become sources of joy, strength, and purpose. This emotional connection turns effort into passion, struggle into growth, and repetition into transformation. It is here, in the heart of motion, that you find the fuel to choose better habits every day, shaping the life you deserve. Change is not a single moment, it is a process, a continuous cycle of choices and actions that shape the path ahead. This truth is both humbling and empowering. You are not expected to become your ideal self overnight. Instead, your growth unfolds through persistent effort, one habit at a time. Each day presents a new opportunity to reaffirm who you want to be through the small, consistent decisions you make. This gradual evolution is the beating heart of transformation. It reminds you that progress isn't about perfection, but persistence. Every effort, no matter how small, contributes to a momentum that builds beyond your current limits. It's important to recognize that setbacks and challenges are inevitable. They are not signs of failure, but essential parts of the journey. The mind naturally resists change because it values stability and familiarity. When you begin to build new habits, you encounter internal friction, a discomfort that tests your resolve. This resistance is a powerful signal that your brain is adapting, reshaping old pathways to accommodate new ones. Instead of fearing the struggle, you must lean into it with courage. Accepting difficulty is a sign of growth, strengthens your resilience, and deepens your commitment to change. Your relationship with consistency is the foundation of lasting transformation. Consistency is not about rigid discipline or harsh self-judgment. It is about showing up for yourself, day after day, with patience and grace. This steady dedication sends a message to your brain that the new behavior matters, gradually rewiring your identity. Over time, what once felt like effort becomes effortless. New habits settle into your life like roots growing deeper beneath the surface. The power of consistency lies in its ability to overcome doubt and fatigue, pushing you forward even when motivation wanes. Understanding this process invites compassion for yourself. Change is difficult precisely because it challenges deeply ingrained parts of your identity. When you stumble, resist the urge to criticize or give up. Instead, remind yourself that each attempt is progress. The struggle itself is proof that you are breaking old patterns and moving toward growth. This mindset shift transforms setbacks into learning experiences, making your journey sustainable and empowering. Self-compassion becomes a vital tool that keeps you connected to your deeper purpose, fueling persistence over time. Your future is built through these repeated acts of consistency and resilience. Each day you choose to engage in better habits, you are casting votes for the person you wish to become. These choices accumulate silently but powerfully, creating a new version of yourself that is more capable, confident, and aligned with your deepest values. The path may not always be clear or easy, but it is real and within your control. This realization anchors your motivation in reality and possibility, transforming abstract dreams into tangible progress. The essence of transformation lies in this ongoing cycle, choosing, acting, learning, and choosing again. It is through this process that you claim your power and reshape your destiny. By committing to consistency with patience and compassion, you turn small daily actions into extraordinary change. You become the architect of your own growth, building a life defined not by chance, but by deliberate, repeated choice. This is the path to becoming who you were always meant to be. True change demands more than just good intentions. It requires a shift in your mindset, a fundamental transformation in how you see yourself and your potential. Your beliefs about who you are create the framework within which habits take root and flourish. If you believe change is difficult or unlikely, your brain will resist growth, clinging to old patterns like a security blanket. But when you embrace the possibility that you are capable of profound transformation, you unlock a powerful internal force. This belief acts as fertile soil where new habits can grow strong. Supported by confidence and self-trust, your mindset is not fixed. It is shaped by your thoughts, actions, and repeated experiences. When you choose to focus on progress rather than perfection, you cultivate a growth mindset that fuels your motivation. This mindset recognizes that setbacks are not failures but opportunities to learn and improve. It shifts your inner dialogue from doubt to curiosity, from fear to empowerment. With each choice to act in alignment with your goals, you reinforce this belief, strengthening your identity as someone who overcomes obstacles and grows through challenges. Understanding the power of mindset reveals why some habits stick, while others falter. Habits that align with your core beliefs feel natural and sustainable because they resonate with your identity. When you see yourself as a healthy, disciplined, and resilient person, making choices that reflect these qualities becomes easier. The brain integrates these behaviors into your self-image, reducing internal conflict and boosting motivation. This integration is crucial because it means your habits are no longer external demands. They become part of who you are at the deepest level. Cultivating this mindset requires deliberate effort and self-awareness. It means paying attention to the stories you tell yourself about your abilities and potential. Are these stories supportive or limiting? Do they encourage growth or reinforce fear? Replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones is essential. Affirmations alone are not enough. You must back them up with consistent action. Each successful step you take rewrites the narrative, gradually convincing your mind that change is not only possible, but inevitable. This mental shift also transforms your relationship with discomfort and challenge. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you begin to see it as a necessary part of growth. Challenges become signals that you are pushing your boundaries and expanding your capabilities. This reframing reduces resistance and opens the door to resilience. You start to welcome the hard work and discipline required to build better habits because you understand that they are the bridge to your future self. By embracing a growth mindset, you harness one of the most potent psychological drivers of change, belief in your own capacity. This belief fuels persistence, helps you navigate setbacks, and ignites a deep, lasting motivation that transcends momentary feelings. It turns transformation into a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. When your mindset evolves, so does your reality. Your habits follow, your identity deepens, and the person you aspire to become comes into sharper focus, step by deliberate step. This is the essence of true, sustainable change. The journey of habit transformation is deeply personal, rooted in your own values and vision for life. When habits align with what truly matters to you, they become more than routine. They become acts of self-respect and love. This alignment fuels a powerful internal drive that pushes you forward even when external motivation fades. Your values serve as a compass, guiding every choice and reinforcing the habits that shape your identity. Without this alignment, habits can feel empty or forced, easily abandoned when discomfort arises. But when your actions reflect your deepest priorities, they carry meaning and purpose that sustain long-term change. Connecting habits to your core values taps into a fundamental psychological truth. Humans seek coherence between beliefs and behavior. When your daily actions support your values, you experience harmony and integrity. This harmony creates inner peace and confidence, strengthening your sense of self. Conversely, when habits clash with your values, tension builds, leading to frustration and self-doubt. This internal conflict often sabotages progress and weakens motivation. Recognizing this dynamic is essential because it shows that successful habit change is not about external pressure or discipline alone. It's about creating authentic alignment within. Your values also help you clarify what matters most, filtering out distractions and focusing your energy on meaningful growth. In a world filled with competing demands and endless options, this clarity is a powerful asset. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of chasing goals that don't resonate deeply, allowing you to invest your efforts where they truly count. When you prioritize habits that embody your values, you create a life anchored in authenticity and fulfillment. This foundation becomes a source of strength, resilience, and joy that propels your transformation. This connection between values and habits transforms challenges into opportunities for commitment. When you face obstacles or doubts, recalling your deeper why, the reasons rooted in your values, reignites your motivation. This emotional anchor reminds you that your efforts are not random or meaningless. They are steps toward living the life you envision. This perspective turns difficulty into fuel, empowering you to persevere with determination and grace. The struggle becomes a sacred part of your journey, a testament to your dedication to becoming your best self. Aligning your habits with your values also fosters self-compassion and patience. You begin to see setbacks not as failures, but as moments of learning and adjustment on a path guided by purpose. This compassionate mindset reduces harsh self-judgment and strengthens your emotional resilience. It encourages you to celebrate progress, however small, because each step honors the values that define you. This celebration nurtures positive emotions that reinforce new habits, creating a virtuous cycle of growth and self-acceptance. Living in alignment with your values through your habits is the essence of authentic transformation. It transforms daily actions into expressions of who you truly are and who you are becoming. This deep connection gives your journey meaning, momentum, and joy. It is the secret to choosing better habits, not because you have to, but because they reflect the highest version of yourself waiting to emerge. Every habit you cultivate rewires your brain, reshaping your neural pathways to support the person you are becoming. This biological process means that change is not just a mental effort. It is a physical transformation inside you. With each repeated action, your brain strengthens the connections that make that behavior automatic, making it easier to sustain over time. Understanding this rewiring reveals the incredible power you hold, Every choice you make literally rebuilds your brain, sculpting your identity one habit at a time. This is both a responsibility and a gift, a chance to consciously design your mind and your life. Your brain seeks efficiency, favoring habits that require less energy to perform. This is why consistent repetition is key. It turns deliberate effort into automatic behavior. At first, new habits demand attention and willpower, but as neural pathways strengthen, these actions become effortless. This shift relieves mental strain and creates space for growth in other areas. It also explains why persistence matters more than intensity. Small, consistent actions compound, producing massive change over time. This process dismantles the illusion that transformation must be sudden or dramatic. True change is slow, steady, and unstoppable. Recognizing your brain's plasticity empowers you to overcome feelings of being stuck or limited by past patterns. No matter how ingrained old habits seem, your brain remains capable of change throughout life. This knowledge dissolves the barrier of doubt and opens the door to new possibilities. Your past does not define your future. The habits you build today carve the path ahead. This perspective transforms frustration into hope and motivates you to keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow. Every effort counts because your brain is always adapting, responding to your intentions. The power of neuroplasticity also highlights the importance of patience and compassion. Neural rewiring takes time and repeated practice. Expecting instant results only sets you up for disappointment and discouragement. Instead, embracing gradual progress honors the natural rhythm of change and protects your motivation. When you treat yourself with kindness during setbacks, you create a supportive inner environment that encourages persistence. This nurturing mindset strengthens your ability to stick with new habits and makes transformation sustainable. This biological foundation deepens your understanding of why you become what you repeatedly do is more than a phrase. It is a scientific truth. Your habits are the building blocks of your identity because they shape the very structure of your brain. By choosing better habits, you take control of your mental wiring and your destiny. This insight empowers you to move beyond blame, excuses, or fixed limitations. Instead, you become an active participant in your own evolution, sculpting a mind and life aligned with your highest vision. The awareness of how habits reshape your brain invites you to act with intentionality and reverence for your own potential. It transforms routine actions into sacred opportunities for growth. Every repetition is a vote for the future you desire. This truth carries immense power. The life you want is built habit by habit, moment by moment, within the amazing adaptability of your mind. You hold the key to becoming your best self, and your brain is ready to change alongside you. Your environment is the silent architect of your habits. It shapes your choices, influences your behavior, and either supports or sabotages the person you're becoming. The spaces you inhabit, the people you surround yourself with, the physical settings you occupy, the routines you unconsciously accept, create a backdrop that can either fuel your growth or keep you trapped in old patterns. Recognizing the power of environment means understanding that transformation is not just an internal battle, it is also a strategic design of your external world. When your environment aligns with the habits you want to build, change becomes not only possible but inevitable. Small adjustments can make extraordinary differences. Removing distractions, placing reminders, organizing your space to encourage positive actions. These are not mere conveniences but powerful tools that reduce the friction of change. When good habits are easier to perform than bad ones, your brain naturally gravitates toward them. This is how your environment acts like an invisible force that shapes your identity over time, supporting your repeated actions and reinforcing new neural pathways. The people you choose to engage with also play a crucial role in habit formation. Social influence is one of the most powerful drivers of behavior. Humans are wired to mirror those around them, absorbing habits, attitudes, and beliefs like echoes. Surrounding yourself with individuals who embody the qualities you aspire to develop can accelerate your transformation. Their energy, discipline, and mindset create an atmosphere where your better habits are not just encouraged but expected. Conversely, toxic relationships or negative influences drain your willpower and reinforce limiting behaviors. This reality demands courage, the courage to seek supportive connections and distance yourself from those who hold you back. This understanding transforms how you approach change. It shifts the burden from sheer willpower to strategic action. You become a curator of your environment, actively crafting conditions that make your growth inevitable. This strategy empowers you to conserve mental energy, redirecting it toward building new habits rather than battling resistance. Your environment becomes a powerful ally rather than a hidden enemy. It is no longer about fighting against your circumstances but shaping them to work for you. This also calls for mindfulness and intentionality. The small details in your surroundings, which you see, hear, and experience daily, shape your subconscious mind and influence your behavior. Cultivating awareness of these subtle forces allows you to make deliberate choices that align with your goals. You begin to notice triggers that lead to old habits and replace them with cues that prompt positive actions. This level of awareness deepens your control over your behavior, making change more manageable and sustainable. Ultimately, your environment is not just where you live, it is the fertile ground where your new identity takes root. It amplifies your intentions and supports the repeated actions that define who you are becoming. By designing your environment with purpose and care, you unlock a multiplier effect that propels your transformation forward with less struggle and more ease. This is a critical step in choosing better habits because it leverages the world around you to shape the world within you. Your future self depends on the spaces you create today. Willpower is often misunderstood as the ultimate key to change, but relying on it alone is like trying to swim upstream against a powerful current. It is finite, fluctuating, and easily depleted by stress, fatigue, and overwhelm. When willpower runs low, old habits surge back with greater force, dragging you away from your goals. This reality can feel discouraging, but it also reveals an essential truth. Transformation requires more than sheer effort. It demands smart systems that protect and multiply your energy. The first step is to recognize that willpower is a resource, not a personality trait. It can be trained and strengthened, but it must also be managed wisely. Instead of battling resistance every moment, design your life to minimize the need for constant self-control. This means creating routines, rituals, and environments that make good habits the easiest choice. When positive behaviors become automatic, they require less conscious effort, freeing your willpower for moments that truly demand it. This strategic approach is the difference between fleeting motivation and lasting transformation. You also need to understand the emotional landscape behind willpower. It often fails not because of weakness, but because underlying feelings, fear, doubt, anxiety, erode your resolve. These emotions create invisible barriers that make change feel dangerous or impossible. Addressing this emotional resistance is critical. It requires compassion and honesty with yourself, recognizing the roots of your hesitation without judgment. When you bring light to these hidden fears, you diminish their power and open space for courage and determination to grow. Building willpower is about small, deliberate actions repeated consistently. Each time you choose the harder but better option, you strengthen your mental muscle. These moments accumulate, rewiring your brain and increasing your capacity to resist temptation. This gradual strengthening is key because expecting immediate mastery only sets you up for disappointment. Instead, celebrate each victory, no matter how small, as proof of your growing strength. This positive feedback loop fuels motivation and resilience, making it easier to sustain progress over time. At the same time, it's essential to practice forgiveness and flexibility. Willpower falters, setbacks happen, and perfection is a myth. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies in how they respond to failure. Choosing to get back up, recommit, and learn from mistakes demonstrates the true power of will. This resilience is a habit in itself, one that builds confidence and keeps you moving forward despite challenges. Ultimately, mastering willpower is not about pushing harder, it's about working smarter. It's about aligning your environment, mindset, and emotions to create a foundation where good habits thrive naturally. When you manage your willpower with intention and care, you unlock a deeper well of strength and persistence. This allows you to choose better habits consistently, transforming your identity and your life in profound, lasting ways. Your future self depends on how you handle this invisible force right now. Your mindset is the foundation upon which all habits are built. It shapes how you perceive challenges, setbacks, and your own potential. A fixed mindset tells you that your abilities and traits are static, limiting growth and making change feel daunting or impossible. This mindset breeds fear of failure and discouragement, causing you to avoid effort or give up easily. In contrast, a growth mindset believes that skills and qualities can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. This mindset opens the door to transformation because it views obstacles as opportunities to improve, not threats to your identity. When you cultivate a growth mindset, every habit becomes a chance to learn more about yourself and your capacity to change. You start to embrace discomfort as a signal of progress, rather than a sign to quit. This shift transforms your inner dialogue, replacing harsh criticism with curiosity and encouragement. You see mistakes not as proof of inadequacy, but as valuable feedback guiding you toward mastery. This mental flexibility fuels resilience, keeping you engaged with your habits even when the path is difficult or uncertain. A growth mindset also expands your vision of what is possible. It frees you from self-imposed limits and opens your mind to new strategies, perspectives, and behaviors. This openness encourages experimentation, allowing you to adapt your habits until they fit your unique needs and goals. It turns the journey of change into a dynamic process of discovery rather than a rigid prescription. This adaptability is essential because it keeps your motivation alive and prevents stagnation. You remain curious and committed, constantly evolving toward your best self. Understanding that mindset shapes your reality empowers you to take ownership of your thoughts and beliefs. It means that the narratives you tell yourself about who you are, what you can achieve, matter deeply. These narratives influence your emotional state, your choices, and ultimately your identity. By choosing to nurture a growth mindset, you choose to align your inner world with the habits that create lasting change. This conscious shift rewires your brain for possibility and progress, reinforcing your efforts with positive momentum. The practice of developing a growth mindset requires patience and persistence. It involves noticing when fixed mindset thoughts arise and gently redirecting them toward growth-oriented beliefs. This self-awareness deepens your connection to your transformation journey and strengthens your emotional resilience. You learn to face uncertainty with courage and to celebrate incremental progress with gratitude. Over time, this mindset becomes your default, supporting you in choosing better habits consistently. Your mindset is the invisible lens through which you experience change. It colors every moment of your journey and shapes the meaning you derive from your efforts. By embracing a growth mindset, you unlock the power to transform not only your habits but your entire life. This shift is not optional, it is essential. The life you want is waiting on the other side of this mental revolution. Your willingness to evolve your mindset is the key that opens the door. Every moment of choice is a crossroads where your future self is being shaped. The power to choose better habits lies in your awareness of these moments. Most people move through their days on autopilot, reacting to impulses, distractions, and old routines without conscious intention. This unconscious living leaves you at the mercy of habits that no longer serve you, keeping you trapped in cycles of frustration and regret. But when you awaken to the present and become mindful of your decisions, you reclaim control over the trajectory of your life. Mindfulness is the bridge between who you are now and who you want to become. It allows you to observe your impulses without judgment, to pause before reacting, and to decide deliberately what actions align with your values and goals. This pause creates a gap where transformation can happen. In that space, you can choose to act in ways that build your new identity rather than reinforce the old one. This moment of conscious choice, repeated consistently, rewires your brain and rewrites your story. Awareness also helps you identify the triggers that lead to automatic behaviors. These triggers, whether emotions, environments, or social cues, can hijack your actions if left unchecked. By recognizing these signals, you gain the ability to intervene before falling into old patterns. This power to disrupt habitual cycles is essential for lasting change because it shifts you from being a passive victim of circumstance to an active architect of your life. You learn to navigate your environment and emotions with intention, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. The practice of mindfulness deepens your emotional resilience as well. When you observe difficult feelings like frustration, fear, or doubt without immediately reacting, you weaken their grip on your behavior. This non-reactive awareness creates space for reflection, self-compassion, and wiser choices. Instead of giving in to negative emotions that sabotage your progress, you learn to sit with them, understand their messages, and respond with clarity. This emotional mastery strengthens your ability to sustain new habits, even when the journey feels challenging. Mindfulness also fuels motivation by reconnecting you with your deeper why. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of the reasons behind your efforts. Regularly bringing awareness back to your values and vision rekindles your passion and commitment. This emotional connection makes habits more meaningful and worth pursuing beyond fleeting willpower. It transforms discipline from a chore into an expression of self-love and purpose. Choosing better habits is not a one-time decision, but a continuous practice of presence and intention. Each mindful choice builds momentum, reinforcing new neural pathways and deepening your transformation. The more you engage in this conscious living, the more your habits reflect the person you aspire to be. This is the essence of empowerment, knowing that every action you take today shapes your identity tomorrow. Your future self is waiting for you to wake up, to see the power in the present moment, and to choose wisely. This awakening is the key that unlocks transformation. Mindfulness is not just a tool, it is the foundation of lasting change and the pathway to becoming the best version of yourself. Every environment you inhabit shapes your habits more deeply than you might realize. The spaces around you are silent influencers, constantly steering your choices in subtle yet powerful ways. Cluttered rooms breed distraction and overwhelm, while clear, intentional spaces promote focus and calm. Surroundings filled with reminders of your goals ignite motivation, while those saturated with temptations fuel old patterns. Understanding this unseen force gives you a profound advantage in shaping your future. By designing your environment to support the habits you want, you build a foundation where change becomes natural, even effortless. This is not about creating perfection, but about crafting conditions that make better choices easier to sustain. When the path to your goals is obvious and accessible, your brain spends less energy resisting old impulses. You remove barriers that drain willpower and create cues that trigger positive action. For example, placing your workout clothes where you see them first thing in the morning acts as a silent invitation to move your body. Having healthy snacks visible and within reach helps replace mindless eating with nourishment. These environmental nudges automate good habits, reducing reliance on fleeting motivation and making discipline a natural part of your day. The environment you create also impacts your emotional state, which directly influences your habits. Spaces that feel safe, inspiring, and supportive cultivate confidence and calm, enabling you to face challenges without being overwhelmed. When your surroundings reflect your values and aspirations, they remind you daily of who you want to become. This emotional resonance deepens your commitment and fuels persistence. Your environment becomes a source of strength rather than a distraction or excuse. It's important to recognize that environments extend beyond physical spaces. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the routines you follow all form part of the ecosystem that shapes your habits. Surrounding yourself with those who encourage growth and hold you accountable strengthens your resolve. Engaging with content that uplifts and educates expands your mindset and vision. Structuring your daily rhythms to align with your goals builds momentum and reduces decision fatigue. Every element of your environment either supports or undermines your transformation. Creating a supportive environment requires intentionality and honesty. It means identifying what triggers your old habits and gently removing or redesigning those influences. It means consciously choosing the people, places, and inputs that reflect the person you are becoming. This process is empowering because it shifts the locus of control from external circumstances to your own hands. You become the architect of the conditions that nurture your best self, rather than a passive participant in forces beyond your control. The environments you build today will either confine you or liberate you tomorrow. This is not a minor detail. It is a core principle of lasting change. When you harness the power of your surroundings, you create an ecosystem where better habits flourish naturally. This strategic shaping of your world is an act of self-respect and love. It is a decisive step toward embodying the future you desire. Your life will never be the same once you understand how profoundly your environment influences the person you become. Every habit you build is a thread weaving the fabric of your identity. The repeated actions you take are not just isolated behaviors. They are declarations of who you believe yourself to be. Each choice is a vote cast for the person you want to become. When you consistently engage in positive habits, your brain begins to accept this new identity as truth. This is the profound power of habit. It transforms your self-perception and reshapes your reality. Understanding this shifts the way you approach change, from a temporary effort to a long-term transformation of self. The moment you recognize that habits create identity, your relationship with action deepens. You stop asking, "What should I do today?" and start asking, "Who do I want to be?" This shift rewires your motivation. Instead of relying solely on external goals or rewards, your actions align with your core sense of self. This alignment makes it easier to maintain discipline because your habits become expressions of your values and aspirations. You begin living from an authentic place, where your daily behaviors reflect your deepest intentions. This identity-based approach also shields you from discouragement. When setbacks happen, and they will, your commitment remains intact because it is anchored in who you are, not just what you want to achieve. You don't quit because giving up would mean rejecting the person you are becoming. This inner consistency builds unshakable resilience. Your habits no longer depend on fluctuating feelings or willpower. They are woven into the very essence of your being. To harness this power, you must become intentional about the habits you cultivate. Every small action matters because it contributes to your self-image. When you choose habits that support your growth, you are effectively sculpting your identity. Conversely, when you allow harmful habits to persist, you reinforce a version of yourself that may limit your potential. This awareness is liberating. It reveals that your identity is not fixed but malleable. You hold the brush that paints your self-portrait through daily habits. Consistency is the secret weapon in this process. Identity is not formed overnight. It is the result of countless moments of choice repeated over time. These moments accumulate, creating a powerful feedback loop. The more you act in alignment with your desired identity, the stronger that identity becomes. This momentum compounds, making it easier to stay on course and harder to slip back into old patterns. Your brain rewards this consistency by reinforcing neural pathways that support your new self. At the core of this truth lies a vital responsibility to be mindful of the habits you embrace. Choosing better habits is not just about achieving goals, it is about choosing who you will become every day. This responsibility can feel daunting, but it is also deeply empowering. It means you are the author of your life story, capable of rewriting the narrative at any moment. Each habit is a sentence in that story, each day an opportunity to create meaning. You are not separate from your habits, you are the sum of them. To change your life, you must first change the actions that define you. This is where transformation begins, not with grand gestures, but with the quiet, consistent choices that shape your identity. When you understand this, you realize the true power of choosing better habits. They are the building blocks of the person you are destined to become. Change is rarely comfortable because it challenges everything you've believed about yourself. It demands that you leave behind the familiar, even if it has held you back, and step into uncertainty. Yet, this discomfort is the price of growth, the tension that stretches you beyond your limits. Embracing this tension is essential because it signals that transformation is underway. When you feel resistance, doubt, or fear, know that these emotions are not obstacles, but indicators that you are breaking old patterns and building new strengths. Choosing better habits means learning to welcome discomfort as a sign of progress, rather than a signal to retreat. Your brain naturally seeks comfort and familiarity, wiring itself to conserve energy and avoid pain. This is why old habits, even harmful ones, feel safe. They are deeply ingrained neural pathways. Change requires creating new pathways, which demands effort and persistence. This is where many falter, mistaking temporary discomfort for failure. But true transformation calls for patience and compassion with yourself during this process. Every small effort rewires your brain bit by bit. You are not starting from zero. You are gradually building a new foundation, one deliberate choice at a time. The key is to lean into discomfort with curiosity, not fear. When you notice resistance, pause and observe it without judgment. Ask yourself what this discomfort is teaching you about your limits and your potential. This mindful approach transforms discomfort from an enemy into a powerful teacher. It reveals hidden fears and beliefs that have held you captive, and shows you where you can grow stronger. Every moment you face discomfort with courage, you weaken the grip of old habits and strengthen your new identity. Your emotional brain thrives on certainty and rewards predictability, but your higher self craves growth and evolution. This inner tension between safety and growth creates a battlefield where your habits are forged. Choosing better habits means choosing growth over comfort, progress over ease. This choice is an act of self-love and respect. It says you believe in your capacity to evolve, even when the path is unclear or challenging. It means committing to yourself even when the immediate payoff is invisible. This long-term faith in yourself fuels the persistence needed to break free from limiting cycles. Remember that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of change are lasting. Each time you resist the urge to revert to old habits, you expand your tolerance for growth. You build resilience that prepares you for greater challenges ahead. This resilience is a muscle strengthened only through use. The more you practice embracing discomfort, the more natural it becomes to choose actions aligned with your highest self. Over time, discomfort fades in intensity and is replaced by a quiet confidence, rooted in knowing you can handle whatever comes. This journey is not about eliminating discomfort, but about transforming your relationship with it. When you see discomfort as a necessary part of becoming, you step into a new realm of possibility. You no longer avoid change because you understand it as the gateway to freedom. Choosing better habits becomes a courageous act, fueled by the knowledge that on the other side of discomfort lies the life you have always desired. You have the power to endure, to grow, and to become the person your potential demands. This is your moment to choose transformation over comfort, action over stagnation, and courage over fear. Every moment you hesitate, every doubt that creeps in, is an invitation to reclaim your power. The truth is, your potential is not limited by circumstances or past failures, but by the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Habits are the language your mind uses to write these stories daily. When you choose habits aligned with growth, you rewrite your narrative from one of limitation to one of possibility. This rewriting demands awareness, courage, and an unshakable commitment to the truth that you are capable of far more than you realize. Your brain is a powerful tool, but it can also be your greatest obstacle if left unchecked. It clings to familiar patterns to keep you safe, but safety often disguises stagnation. The challenge lies in recognizing that true safety exists not in comfort but in growth.